Welcome back to Grit Gym, guys. If you're getting here, you're here right now, and you've been waiting to get on here, awesome. Thanks for waiting. If you're coming in here later and I'm a time traveler, that's how I always think of this thing. Like when people say, I watch your videos later, even though they're live, I tend to think like it's kind of like being a time traveler, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool. I get to travel through time at this moment to get to where you are in the future. And it's kind of neat to think about. So today we're talking about health just like always. You got exercise, mindset, nutrition, and exercise. You got to have all four of those. And I don't think that they should be in balance necessarily because, I mean, snapshot in time, things might not be in balance. You take a really easy subject when you first have children. I'm going to take a wild guess that a lot of your focus goes to that kid and less goes to your exercise, less goes to your job, less goes to your other relationships, and most goes to that relationship with that kid. A snapshot in time, that would be the case. Now, if we go 30 years in the future, I bet you're doing less parenting and you're probably doing more exercise, more time with your friends, more time at work or something like that. So it's a little different from time to time. Snapshot in time, balance is kind of bullshit. But over the course of your entire life, hopefully we're balancing this thing out. Now, health, exercise, nutrition, mindset, recovery, you have to have all four of those things. Sometimes you're going to have more exercise. Sometimes you're going to have more focus on nutrition. Sometimes you're going to have more focus on the mindset category. And sometimes you really got to hone in your recovery. Earlier in the week, we talked about what to do when you feel like a slug. You got to move towards that recovery medium. Okay, you got to focus on the recovery, really push the recovery, and probably look at the nutrition stuff and back off on the exercise a little bit. But if you don't have those things, that snapshot in time, you felt like a slug, you needed to back off. Now, if you're feeling really good, you're feeling like you're really going hard, your body is ready to go, well, we probably need to up the exercise just a little bit. But anyway, health is your greatest resource in life. If you can't enjoy your wealth, you can't enjoy your time, you can't enjoy your relationships without your health. It is the most important thing that you will ever, and most important resource that you'll ever have in your entire life. It's more important than your kids. It's more important than any amount of money or any thing that you give to this world. So, what were we talking about today? Well, today we're going to end up talking about, that's an interesting way to say it. Today we're talking about how to lose fat without losing muscle or losing your mind. I think this is one of those things that when people talk about nutrition, they almost start to lose their mind around it because there's so many different things. There's Whole30, there's Bulletproof, there's low carb, high fat, vegan, vegetarian. What is the best way? And they're all trying to cram their knowledge and cram their way down your throat, and really they're just all strategies. So I'm going to get into this a little bit. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how do you not lose your mind around the nutrition thing, and at some point in there, one of these things is just going to click based on what I just said, how to not lose your mind in the whole scenario of all of this stuff, and I'll tell you when that is. I'm even going to circle it in my notes if I can find it. Where is it? Where is it? All right. They're all wrong. There we go. All right, that's the one. I'm gonna start that one. But how do you lose fat without losing your mind? Well, we got to look at the nutrition category here. When you were talking about fat loss, we are primarily talking about nutrition. You can exercise your way to fat loss, but it's going to be tough. And fat loss is always going to support, or exercise is always going to support the fat loss, but it is not the driving factor. Your body will adjust its metabolic needs for the less that you give it and for the more that you exercise. So it can't just be all exercise because your body is smart. Your body is way smarter than you. Your body is way smarter than your conscious thinking. Your body has been evolving for millions and billions of years up to this point right now. The human race has been around for about 195,000 years. I don't think that you're going to outsmart 195,000 years of evolution. There's things that your body is going to do that you are not ready for. It is hard to get your mind wrapped around those, and it almost makes us go nuts. And when I first started it, I got my first strength conditioning book in 1997. I think probably about a year or two later is when I started reading up on sports nutrition. And for 10 years, that's the only thing I did. For 10 years, that's all I did was just study sports nutrition, which is quite a bit different than actual fat loss, but still has a lot of the same merits. Both are based on the same foundational principles, I guess I could say. So after I got into that, like even a year into my professional stance, I'm still sitting there kind of working on sports nutrition. And since about that 2007, 2008 mark, I just went in head first and learned as much as I possibly could about nutrition and exercise and sports psych so that I could be a better service to the people that I work with, right? So I did a lot of things right up front. A lot of things right up front. I think like looking back now, I did a lot of things right. You know, people, they had a lot of success and they were eating whole foods. They were eating lower calorie. They were less, there was less stress on their body because they were eating better food and healthier food. But I did a lot of things wrong in the process too. I did a lot of things inaccurate to science because we didn't know yet. Like there's a lot of things that science is constantly uncovering. So some people will kind of scoff at me when I change my my principles and what I tell people and the way that I tell people. They'll be like, "That's not what you used to tell me," and that's a good thing. It means that I'm progressing, means that you're progressing. It's a very good thing. But for a moment, they're pissed. They're not very happy with me for a moment because it's like I betrayed them. But like I did the best I could at the time with the information that I had. Science is making things more and more clear as time goes along. So I did a lot of things very good, but I did a lot of things wrong. For instance, I went to extremes with almost everything. I basically gave everybody, I just shoved information on them, as much information onto them as I possibly could. This didn't lead to very good. It led to very good results, but only for a short, finite period of time. So it wasn't sustainable. What we were talking about. For instance, we went to extremes. Like I had a client. I didn't realize how extreme I was making it sound, and I wasn't giving people stair steps to be able to get to where they needed to go, like we do now. So one lady came. The realization I had when this happened was this lady came in and I asked what she ate for breakfast that morning. And although I don't think breakfast is absolutely pivotal today, I did at the time. So we're stepping back in time here, and I asked her what she had for breakfast, and she said I was running out of time, so I wrapped spinach in shaved turkey. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just not sustainable. There's no way that she's going to be able to keep on doing that for months and years the way that she needs to keep the weight, to lose the weight that she wants to lose and to keep it off. So that was a problem. So it wasn't sustainable. It was too extreme. It was too much information just all at once, just pounded on people. So that's why we take these very much a longer, steady process now. We have a challenge, and I'll get more into that here in a little bit. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we do things a little different now because we did a lot of things wrong up front, and now we just continue to make it better, right? So you work hard to improve every day. That's why, because the little 1% different. Well, if you can get 1% improvement every single day, then how long does it take to be 100% improved? Well, 100 days, right? So 10 years of experience and 20 years of study. What has it taught me? What have I discovered? Well, there are a few secrets along the way. There are a few secrets that people don't seem to be willing to make very, very clear. And I think it's because the gurus are the ones who are the best marketers because they're not really gurus. They're just full of crap. Anyway, so 10 years of experience, 20 years of study. You have to plan, you have to prep, and you have to have a few really key realizations, I guess is what you should call them, along the way. You have to have these key realizations along the way because really I can only give so much information and so much energy and so much knowledge and so much education to you. At some point you've got to roll it through your head and make it make sense to you and for you to grab hold of that idea. Otherwise, it's never actually going to become a thing that you can apply to your life. So part of, and the other thing here is that we went the hard route. We always went the hard route with every single person. And I think there's a much easier route. And this is why you get a coach, right? When you get a coach, you get to find the easy way because there's three ways to get through a door, right? You can knock the wall down. What's going to happen? You're going to get bruises and cuts and splinters and all kinds of stuff by knocking that wall down. That's hard work. That's the hard way. That's the real hard way. And I'm very good at that. So trust me. You could also knock the door down. Okay, it's probably a little easier to break the door through the hinges and just bust that door down because that's the weak point, right? Well, that's still fairly hard work. What if we combined the hard work with the smart work and we turned the doorknob and we walked right through? That'd make it a lot simpler, wouldn't it? So when you hire a coach, it's much like they've already gone through all the steps. They've already done all the stuff. They've already developed the plan for you. You just got to go all in on that plan. So there's 3 ways to get through a wall. You can bust it down. You can break down the door. Or you can turn the doorknob. I don't know about you, but I want to learn the full spectrum of everything, but I want to walk through the door. I don't want to sit there and reinvent the wheel and do all these things. So what are the 3 big secrets? The 3 big secrets are you got to prep, you got to have one thing at a time, and you got to have mountains and mountains of patience. And I realize those sound way too simple, right? Way too simple. Well, I'll go into each one. First big secret is that you only focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. If you look at psychological research and how people actually attain habits, how they make improvements, how they make life changes, you focus on 2 things. It's like what's that saying? If you hunt 2 rabbits, you get none. If you hunt 1 rabbit, you got a chance. Something like that. I don't remember how that goes. But the idea still holds true. Focus on one thing. Nail that one thing. You have to hit that one thing. One of the people that we did this with, we started with water. It was just I think all she was drinking at the time was coffee. It was just like coffee. And it's like, let's switch. And she was I think her body was so stressed out that she couldn't even do anything. She couldn't think. It's like, let's switch to 1 cup of coffee every hour, and the rest of the time you're going to drink water. And we're just going to make a habit of drinking water. And although I don't think that hydration is the what sports drink companies have made it out to be, because it's not. But she needed something very, very tangible, very easy. She had mountains and mountains of self-limiting beliefs around nutrition in front of her. She needed something super tangible that she could handle. And so we started with water. She could have 2, and water was I think water is the easiest one personally, because you can have 2 bottles on your desk. At work, you can have 2 bottles in your car. You can have 2 bottles all the time at home, and you just got to make sure, because you're going to sip on those throughout the day. If they're there, if they're not there, you will not drink out of them. It's a very easy one. Another really easy one is that people actually fail on a lot is to take your fish oil every morning. You just focus on that one thing. You don't do fish oil and water. You do fish oil or water. You do one thing, and you devote yourself to that one thing. And after 2 weeks, that has become a mainstay. You can continue to do that. Oh, I've done this for 2 weeks. If I can do this for 2 weeks, I can do this for my whole life. This isn't any big deal. I'm just popping 2 pills in the morning, or I'm just keeping water on my desk. Not that big of a deal. So now we figured out that we can change a self-limiting belief, that we can change something in our mind, that we can change how we react to food. So that was one thing that we did with her. And slowly but surely, she lost 30 pounds. All right. And then the next big secret is food prep. This is like the holy grail. This is like the whole show. This is like the crown, the king, and his chair, right? So food prep is huge. You got to find a way to food prep. I don't care. One of the ways that I know that people do it successfully is they hire food prep companies. I actually really like these. There's one in the Quad Cities that I really like. There's not one in Iowa City that I really like. The one that is in Iowa City, I think, is kind of poor at best. I would not use it. I don't know the person. I don't want to use their name. They could be a really great person. I have no idea, but I think their meals just kind of suck. Would not call them healthy or useful to most demographics. So, but food prep is huge. The way that I do it is on Sunday. I set out 10 containers, whether you use Pyrex or Tupperware or whatever you want to use. And I do 5 sandwiches, 5 salads, and it takes me about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm done. No big deal. Cook time and everything. I mean, I don't make it complicated. That's basically lunch for every day of the week. Pretty simple. Then I eat breakfast with Rachel, and I eat supper with Rachel. Rachel usually cooks dinner, which is fantastic. One of the ways that I'll save that for a different talk, but But that's the second big secret. You have to find a way to food prep. You have to have something ready. Frozen stir fry. That's what I was trying to say. Is a really good way to do it too. You do put maybe 3 to 5 containers of stir fry in your freezer, and then you just get those. You dump them in your skillet. You shake them around for a couple minutes, and bam, you got stir fry ready for you. That way, you're not ordering pizza. You're not going out to eat. You're not doing the impulse thing that it isn't going to get you to where you want to go. The third big secret, this is the one at the beginning that I was talking about, that is the one that's going to really blow up everything, is that everybody's right. For the most part, everything in the nutrition world, every article that you read online, every magazine cover that you read, all that stuff, for the most part, it's right, but it's also wrong at the same time. Everybody's right, but everybody's wrong, and it's really hard to read through this. So, for instance, the if it fits your macros. Okay, so if it fits your macros means that it doesn't fit your protein, fat, carb. This is absolutely accurate. No doubt about it. Has to be accurate. Totally on point. Now, but it can become a little bit of a problem, because what if you're doing the peanut butter cup diet, which is a real diet? All that people do is they eat peanut butter cups for like a certain period of time. That's it. They don't eat any vegetables, any meat. It's just water and peanut butter cups. And people have success doing this. They lose weight. Now, I don't know how much they're losing in fat or how much they're losing in protein, but or in muscle, which is just stored protein. But do you think that this person is living a healthy diet, a healthy nutrition, and a healthy lifestyle during the time where they're on the peanut butter cup diet? But it fit their macros, so it counted, right? The other thing is, it's really annoying to count calories. I hate counting calories. Every time that we had to do this in college, I was just like, this blows. I don't want to count calories. I just think there's better ways to do it, and we're going to learn more as we go along here. But if it fits your macros, though, it's totally accurate. You have to lower your caloric intake for fat loss to occur. But you could just sit around and drink Coca-Cola and eat peanut butter cups and still lose weight? Yeah. But is it how you want to do it? I don't think so. Vegan, is it the way to go? When the whole that last documentary came out that is just total horseshit came out, it was the interesting thing about that was we had a few people at Grit that tried out the vegan diet. They're probably not still going. Every vegan that I've ever met at some point breaks to the bacon. It's just how it goes. It's just too delicious. But the thing about the vegan diet is you're taking away an entire macronutrient group. Basically, you're taking away a huge portion of protein. Yes, you can get protein from plants, just not very much of it. So you're drastically decreasing your macronutrients, your calories, when you do the vegan diet. No, the interesting thing about this is that all wrong? No. Plants are extremely good for you. Fruit and vegetables, extremely good for you. Can you live on the vegan diet? Yes. Are you going to be malnutrition on the vegan diet? Yes. Are you going to have the brain power and the physical function to be able to perform at your top levels? No. Are you going to lose fat on the vegan diet? Maybe, if your caloric intake is lower. Also, there's some other things too. You give yourself rules in the vegan diet. Like you see a piece of pizza that you would normally go ahead and splurge on. Now you're like, no, I'm doing the vegan thing. So you don't eat it. There are things that happen there. There was a guy that was working at a gym, and he worked at over the summer, and he was working at a gas station. He said usually he would just go and grab a piece of pizza on a regular basis, and he's like, no, I'm doing the vegan thing, so I'm not going to eat that pizza. He made a better choice, right? So is it all bad? No, some of it's very good. What about the high protein, high fat, low carb, the zone diet, the Whole30 diet? They all have something good in them. They all have something bad in them. I've seen people have success on every single one of these. Do they work? Yes. Are they right for you? Maybe. Are they healthy? Maybe. Are they sustainable? Maybe. Are they all right? No. Are they all wrong? No. So there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things in there. And one of the big realizations, I think, to make in any of this stuff, this is probably the biggest realization I get, is that old habits die hard. Old habits die super, super hard when it comes to the nutrition game. It's terrible to try to get rid of old habits. Or it's not terrible. That's just that's a truth that you can hold. That's like life is hard. Well, doesn't have to be hard unless you want it to be hard. But old habits die hard. The reason that we have habits is so that we can do things without thinking about it. Like when was the last time you analyzed a chair to make sure that you could sit in it? No, it's just a habit. You just sit in a chair. You don't think about it. You just do. And it's the same thing. Like people chewing their fingernails, they're not consciously thinking, man, these fingernails look delicious. I think that I'm going to bite them. I don't think that that's what they're doing. They're just chewing on their fingernails. They can do it without thinking. When you're driving down the road, you're not thinking about your foot on the gas and your hands and everything, and you wonder why your 13-year-old or 14-year-old or whenever you choose to teach them how to drive, wonder why they can't do everything at first and why you're so frustrated. Well, because they have 1,000 things going through their head, and you just do it without thinking about it. Habits are a very, very good thing. Now, old habits die hard. Where are we going with that? Well, if we want to make nutritional improvements, then we've got to create new habits that go towards the lifestyle that we want, that's going to give us the body and the life that we want. And the good news that hopefully you'll be thrilled about is that we're doing a nutrition presentation at Grits. I don't have a date for it yet, but it'll get posted up here. So we're going to give away something free there. Like we'll give away a nutrition book or a planner or something like that for showing up to the event. But I really hope that a lot of people show up to it. I think it's going to be really fun. And we're going to do a 30-minute presentation on nutrition. And from there, we're also going to do a 6-week course where everybody meets once per week. We've done this before at Grit. This time we've made improvements on the course. After the last time that we went through it, we really scaled back and we're like, all right, let's replan, let's re-look at what did work, what didn't work, what went well, how do we get engagement without too much over embellishment from certain people, or maybe embellishment was the wrong word, but make sure that everybody gets their fair share of sharing. That was interesting. Share of sharing. Anyway, so the course is going to be 6 weeks long, 6 sessions. Each time there's going to be a new food presented, so you get to try something you probably haven't tried before, and it'll give you something, a way to make a new vegetable recipe or something that's delicious, so that you do eat it. You're going to get 2 new recipes for your specific to your body each session that we do have, that you get to try throughout the week. One of the things that I think that people really get in the way of them continuing, like they get started, they're ready, they're roaring, they're motivated, and then they try to go on this health kick where it's just like, okay, I'm going to eat all this shitty food, or I'm going to eat all this food that doesn't taste very good, and then eventually it's like, man, that pizza looks really good. And the further you go along with your nutrition stuff, the more it's just like, this sucks, I'm ready to give it up. And then you do, and then you go back to the way that it used to be, and then you get the old life that you used to have at the weight that you were before, right? So this time we're going to give you new recipes that are specific to your body, that will help you out with your journey, that you can try out during the week, so that you're not getting bored of the same old thing. And then you also get your own personal coach within each one of those sessions. There's a lot of things that are going to happen there that I think are going to be a really good time. But this has worked for a bunch of people at Grits, the way that we do it now, or the way that we've done it in the past, and I think this one's going to be even better. It's worked for multiple people. It's really interesting when people come in with a picture. They're like, by the way, this was me a year ago. And it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. Some people, it happens so fast because we're seeing you every single day, so we don't always see the progress. But sometimes it happens so fast, it's just like, who are you? I don't even recognize you anymore. And other times it happens so slow, which is the way that we want it to happen, because the slower it happens, the better it is for our bodies and our health. But there's a lot of people at Grit Gym that have had good success from it. The presentation is also free. You're going to get a ton of information on nutrition that you can use to make improvements. And it's up for you guys if you want to sign up for the course or not. We definitely try to make it as least cost as possible, but I'm really excited about that. But yeah, the 3 big secrets around nutrition that everybody needs to work on is that one thing at a time. One thing at a time, always. If you try to do more, if you try to chase 2 rabbits, you get none. If you try to chase 1, you got a chance. So get one thing at a time. Water is a really easy one to do, and fish oil. I try to get everybody on fish oil, vitamin D, and a probiotic. they're extremely, extremely good for you. But getting one of those in every single morning, that's just one step closer. And that's 1% improvement, 1% improvement, 1% improvement over and over and over and over again. And eventually that's going to accumulate into a bunch of improvement. And then number 2 is food prep. It is the secret to everything. Food prep is huge. You make so much. If you accumulate all the decisions that you make, regardless, if you could be prepared for every single one of them, you would choose a better option, right? So food isn't any different. We're all a combination of our choices. So if we food prep ahead of time, we're going to make that better choice. We're going to make that convenient choice. Bam, it's right in us. And we also increase time by doing that. And then number 3, the realization that everybody's right and everybody is wrong on some level. I'm wrong about something in the way that I'm going to speak, or the information that I'm going to give and the knowledge that I'm going to give. And I'm right about a lot of things too. And mostly, like if you look at vegan, Whole30, Zone, any high protein, low carb, all of them have really good information, and all of them have some just awful information. I try to take all the good stuff from each one and use that and teach people about that, and dismiss all the garbage that they use to try to hook you in. Because one of the ways that they do that is just a marketing ploy. If you pick one side, and you stick to that one side and you just hardcore, and then you throw rocks at the other side, even if you believe in it, people are more likely to join you. If you sit on both sides, you're like, I don't know, both of these kind of work, this and this and this is good, this and this and this is bad, less people join you. So it's one of those things where I can't get over giving up my integrity for such a silly thing. So that's why I'm not willing to do it. But apparently it works. So anyway, that's the end of the presentation. Or wait, number 3, yeah. Everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Take the good stuff and leave all the bad. But that's the end of the presentation today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you got something out of it, please take the time, hit the share button. I'm going to have a link to the event coming up soon. I don't have a date for it yet, but that's when you're going to know about it. We'll also send out an email. So thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.